AHAT a lay flat and all that. Got AHAT live, Power 88 definitely in the building. We got my boy Glasses Malone in the building. We're gonna talk about the George Floyd tragedy that took place. We're gonna talk about some things that Glasses has been working on, some new music, and then we're gonna talk about hit up some other topics or whatever. So Glasses, what's up with you, man?
I'm coolin', man. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing blessed, man. How you doing out there in Cali right now? Everything straight?
Everything good, man. It's always the same for us, for people from that get down how we get down. So it's all good.
Right. What's the quarantine situation like for you? Like how has it affected you?
I mean, I can't go sit down in the restaurants. That is something I realize is part of what I do every day. You know, a lot of times I go to restaurants and just sit down and eat. So to not be able to do that is, I didn't realize how much I do that. That sucks. But for the most part, they shut my studio down for 2 months, so I had to start working from the spot. Um, and everything else
Okay.
is normal. And then the people trying to make you wear a mask, I can't stand that.
It takes some getting used to, man.
Yeah, I'm not ever trying to get used to it. Nah, nah, it's like I get it, you feel me? But I've been alive for over 30 years at this point, man, and ain't nobody sneezed and coughed on me ever. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People had to give me 6 feet long before social distancing.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people niggas been had to give me 6 feet. You
Yeah.
feel me?
It's like the social distances is just
Yeah,
catching
that's
up
all.
to you, huh?
Yeah, y'all welcome to my world.
Yeah. I've been on this, huh?
Yeah, nigga been had to give me 6 feet to go 6 feet.
Right. I feel you on that, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to the people that's in the chat room and everything.
yeah.
Shout out to Magnif. He says shout out to the big homie Glasses Loke. He says salute AHAT. All right, this is some serious business that I got you on here for. So let's dip right into it, man, because this is weighing heavy on my heart. And when I actually seen the footage of the George Floyd attempt arrest, I guess you could call that, and it was actually a murder. Man, I couldn't even watch it. I almost broke down in tears, and I don't even know what to say, and I don't even know how to react. But I seen you tweet something powerful, and that's why I actually hit you up. You tweeted something to the effect of, if you got a problem with what the police are doing, why don't you become a cop or something like that. But just tell me your thoughts when you saw the footage of George Floyd getting arrested and eventually killed.
We constantly let these people mishandle us. These people don't know how to handle us.
Right.
My lifestyle is different. You know, it ain't like the average person that's walking in the United States of America, man. I'm a crip, you know what I'm saying? I'm a gangster. Like, that don't mean the ignorance that you think. It means I live my life outside of the law. So I usually don't use the law for nothing. I don't have, when the law pull me over, it's a much easier position than the average person because I'm always doing something wrong. So I'm truly like compliant. I don't really do all of the debating with them because in my mind, I'm gonna treat them like a regular person. But for the average person that's of our community, that come from where we come from, if we don't start handling ourselves, if we don't start taking those jobs, they're going to consistently mishandle us. You know what I mean? Those people are going to mishandle us. They don't know how to talk to us. They don't know how to treat us. That's the truth. So at this point, I'm not going to advise people to go out and do what I would do. That ain't what you about. But what I'm
Right.
telling you is, if you want to take care of your community, that's a job you should be looking to take. I got friends, man, that got those jobs and they take those jobs serious. They pride themselves in making sure when they around, brothers gonna make it home. So I stand by that. In that specific case, that man obviously committed a crime. You know what I
Right.
mean? That policeman committed a crime. You feel me? Cuz committed a crime. So
Absolutely.
most likely when the DA figure out what they gonna do, you know, he gonna go to jail. You know, the crime charge, I ain't really into it much about it. You know what I mean? They'll figure it out. But I stand by, we have to stop crying to the oppressors about oppressing us. They not gonna change that. It's either a fight or we gonna do it ourselves. So
Right.
that's my mentality. Like, how many times are we gonna cry? How many times are we gonna compare our misfortunes to them? Like, what are we gonna keep doing? Like, I don't get down like that. I'm not the kind of person that's constantly like, oh, you keep mistreating me. You know, I understand that this world ain't fair and just, and I understand that's them white folks' nature. So at that point, my thing is either I'm gonna kill them or I'm gonna do it myself. I'm not even gonna involve them into what I need to do. So my belief is we need more people from the community to police the community. We got to stop making it. We got to stop ostracizing the police. That job, fuck the humans. You can ostracize every racist person that got any job, whether he's a cook, whether he's a fireman. You can ostracize any racist white person doing a job. But the actual job title, we need to fill in for some of that. Because if we're not going to take care of our community, these people are going to keep mistreating us. That's the truth.
Right. Yeah, I believe you're absolutely right. And I think they already, so there was 4 officers involved. Like one officer was the one that actually had his knee on George Floyd that actually killed him. And then
The
there
other
were,
was just walking around.
yeah, they just surveying the perimeter and keeping everybody at bay. But they're
My
go ahead.
issue, and not to cut you off,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at the white folks for being white folks. It's either two ways to deal with that. You either kill them, you feel me, or you let it go. You don't bitch about them white folks being white folks. That's what they do. My issue is the niggas that was behind the camera watching this man scream he can't breathe and them not putting up a fight. If saving somebody's life that look like you is not worth dying for, then what are we really fighting for? Like I would never, if I'm standing right there and they putting their knee on somebody's neck and they screaming they can't breathe and I'm staring and I'm looking at his body go limp, I'm gonna just risk my life, even if it's for that moment. Like it's worth it. So I'm not mad at them crackers for being crackers. That's what they do. They've been doing this shit now to us for 400 years. So my mentality has always been either I'm gonna gun you down or I'm gonna let it go. It ain't no in the middle. It ain't no complaining. I'm not gonna whine to you like, oh, why are you being unjust? Oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna play that game. I know why you being unjust. It's in your nature to be crappy. You a shitty motherfucking human. So
What
at this point, I'm gonna treat you as such.
What do you think about like one of them was an Asian, the one standing in the video, the other dude is an Asian and he
White people who like rice. Yeah. I'm not with the whole, man, listen. The way they see us is the way I understand them as well. They don't look at us. The Asian people don't look at us, and I'm not gonna get into the whole conversation of whole thing. I'm upset with any brother that was behind that camera and watched that man. I put the blame on you. I don't put the blame on them crackers for killing us. Them crackers been killing us for 400 years. My blame is on every motherfucking person that look like me that ain't standing up. If you're not standing up while this is happening, if you're not willing to risk your life, then move your little scary ass out the way. You're not no hero because you taped it. All you did was show us the same thing we've been seeing this whole time. When do you step up? When do you stand up for your people? When do you stand up for your brother? That's the one thing I laugh at people being gang members and talking about it. It's like we gonna stand up for each other, whether it's the police, whether it's anybody. I don't care who it is. I done stood up against anybody. Like I'm gonna stand up no matter who it is.
Right, absolutely.
That's just a nigga with a job to me. I don't give a fuck if he a police. That's a nigga with a job. Nigga, you a regular nigga to me.
Right. All right. So the way I look at it is like we got this systemic problem. It's like the systems problem, whatever, the economy's problem, our society problem that it's like black men are just being attacked, right? And I think what you're saying is like one of the keys to a solution, like more of us being in the law enforcement and policing our own communities. But I think it goes even deeper than that. Like what other jobs do you think could positively
Teachers.
Right. Thank you.
You gotta think from 1 to 5. Like, and this is something I don't want people to get confused. I'm not saying, hey, get inside the machine, you're gonna change these white folks' nature. Look, you ain't changed these white folks' nature. That just ain't what you finna do. But what you can do is you can be a real motherfucking nigga to the day you die. You can make sure as many brothers get home as possible. The overall issue with systemic racism, that shit is a long-term battle. You feel me? Them people had dominion over us for 400 years where they could buy us and do whatever they wanted to us. So I don't think that's gonna be a problem fixed in 150 years. That shit ain't finna be fixed easy. That shit gonna take a lot of time,
Right.
and it's gonna take a whole bunch of different solutions. But if nothing
Yeah.
else, to make sure one brother a day get home, you know what I mean? That's your responsibility. That's our job. You feel me? Changing these crackers' mind is not our job. That ain't our job. These crackers, all we can do, niggas been whining about what these crackers been doing for a long time. So that ain't gonna change it. But it's the same thing for teachers. You know, from 1 to 5 years old, we grew up with a whole nother dialogue in our culture. We talk different, we act different. All our mannerisms is different. Our culture is different. Teaching is about being able to translate words and ideas to somebody. And if you don't know how you can relate to them, if you're from Newport Beach, it's gonna be a dialogue breakdown right off the rip. That's why our kids ain't coming out smart. It got to be for us and by us. That's always what it's been. It's always got to be. I'm not saying you're going to, it depends. In my heart, I wish we could just do it on our own, completely separate. But if we're going to
Right.
exist in this society the way it is, yeah, we just got to get the jobs and we got to make it work. We got to push our people to become judges. You know what I'm saying? We got to push our people to become jury members. A lot of us dug jury duty, but the problem is you might be the peer that a brother needs. So understanding what he's going through, the crime that he's being charged with.
Right. You might
You
be
got
the
to be
one to save him.
save his fucking life. And then we not looking to save each other's life enough. That's why somebody was harassing me on Twitter about being a gang member. And I'm like, bro, my homie saved my life. I hope
Mm-hmm.
your homie saved your life. If the police rush me, my homie's gonna stand up for me right off the rip. They ain't finna let no police choke me out right there. Shit. My
Right.
homie died in a shootout with the police. We the four polices. Watts is a different place. So while you screaming, oh, this, that, and the third, you ain't standing up for nobody. My homies, and I'm gonna stand up for them all the way to the end. We all understood the life we chose. We gonna stand up for each other to death.
Right. That David Johnson in the chat room, he says we need our own security, and that's like one of the things that I always thought so highly of the nation. Man, you got the FOI, and they just always held it down for the community when they was around. Like I remember one time I was at a club. It was way everybody was leaving the club, and I don't know why the FOI was out there. I don't know if they was pushing their newspaper magazines or whatever, but some cats started to get in a fight or whatever, and the FOI was there holding it down and making sure it didn't get to that, and they de-escalated it. And I just always held the nation in high regard for
Me
things like
too to
that.
this day, bro. Like Cam is my big brother, an icon to me. I respect him as a man, probably more than most men. You know, he definitely is a, you know, he in the top percentage of men I respect. So I'm with you. But my thing is, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get. I would love for us to have our own, but at this point, that's not a realistic goal for everybody to separate and do it. They're not gonna do that. You know, niggas love wearing Gucci too much. Niggas love European fashion too much. So they not gonna separate from these white folks. That just ain't a realistic goal. Even though it's a dream and I wish it was like that. I wish we could just be ourselves without them. No different than the Asians community in this country. No different than the Mexican community in this country. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But because we our desire was to integrate and we stay integrating and we stay doing that, at this point you got to get into the police system. And it ain't about changing them crackers' mind. It's about making sure your brother get home every day. One brother, you can save one brother life every day. And if enough of us is in there in that community, we should be arguing about, you know, getting brothers into the police force that's from the community. That should be the argument. We shouldn't be arguing about white folks doing what white folks been doing to us since we known white folks, since we created the white folks. They've been doing the
Mm-hmm.
same bullshit. So it's not no surprising. I feel bad for Stephen Jackson. I mean, George Floyd, rest in peace. But Stephen Jackson's a good friend of mine, and I was his boy, and I could tell he genuinely hurt. You know what I mean? Trey
Right.
is a good nigga. Trey hurt. So I feel really bad for them. But in my mind, I'm like, shit, what these crackers been doing? So my thing is, if we not gonna take the jobs, if we gonna constantly take the whole approach of all police are bad and don't nobody want the job, you're not for no abolish the police force. That's just a dumbass. That's just dumb. Most, not to mention, most people that look like us need the police. People don't, you know, I live outside
Right.
of the law. That ain't for everybody. So at this point, yo, every brother should be trying to get in there to take care of their people. Not to change them crackers' mind, but to make sure them crackers don't kill the next motherfucking nigga. If it was one nigga with them crackers and he remained being a nigga, he would have stopped that shit. Save that man life. You got to be willing to save one person life a day.
Right. Yeah, I feel you on that. So let me pose this question to you. Say like the black community, we all just rallied together and we hit you up and we were like, what steps you think we could do to start taking care of our own community? You already pointed out let's get more of us becoming teachers, more of us becoming police officers. What do you think the other critical jobs that have big effects on our community that could help prevent future instances like this from happening?
So you can't come to me because I believe in violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You leaning towards Malcolm X, not Martin Luther, huh?
Well, I think Martin Luther was some shit too, but I believe that I'm from Watts, man. It's just different. You know, I'm for, you know, I wouldn't just shoot at a random police. I'd be looking for dude. And
Right.
once we get to dude, the rest of the people that get the message, like, don't fuck with them guys. That's what I believe in. That's how I was taught. And it, as psychotic as it sounds to people, it makes sense to me, and I've watched it work. I've had to go after people full-fledged, feel me, to make sure that all the rest of them knew, if you come fucking with me, feel me, this is gonna be the outcome every time. So you better know what you want to do. So my mentality would be to look for the police officer that violated crime. I could find him. Every human is findable. So
Right.
I'll be looking at him and make an example out of him.
Right.
For the average person, you know, it's about bleeding these police forces. It's about getting the most out of them, creating programs, taking the stigma off, becoming a police officer, getting people involved from our community, and then actually supporting them, not ostracizing them and making them feel like now you're a police, you ain't a part of the community. No different. The Italians raise their own police officers. The Irish people raise their own police officers. Mexicans raise their own police officers. Chinese people raise their own police officers. We just don't want to, and that's the problem. That's why we're being mistreated day in and day out.
Right. Okay. From the chat room, I want to give another shout out to Magnif. He threw something on the super chat. Shout out to him. Super Dave gave you a shout out. Manny R gave you a shout out too.
What up, though?
So when I think about it, and I think us as a community, like if we wanted to change things, I think that police officers is number one. Number two is probably teachers. We need to have more of us teachers, police officers, and also politicians and lawyers, because the politicians, they can affect some of the statutes and some of the laws, and they might be able to, you know, slowly get things to where it's equal. But man, it's just like black men are being attacked, man. It's no other way to put it.
Man, we gotta stop acting like this new.
Yeah.
We ain't finna keep saying dirt is brown.
Right, yeah.
You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
So every time I'm looking at another nigga post whining, it's like, nigga, dirt is brown. Dirt been brown for a long time.
Right.
And at this point, what are we gonna do? Fuck what they gonna do. What are we gonna do?
Right.
I'm listening to niggas screaming justice. It's like, nigga, what's justice in this world for them to, like, what's justice? Ain't no justice in this shit right here. Like, what the fuck you talking about justice? Like, even if that case is prosecuted the right way, that's a manslaughter case, you feel me? Let's say he gets 2 years. Is that justice? Can you trade his life back? Does that bring George Floyd life back? No, it don't. So stop depending on them. Stop begging for them to hear your shit. Stop begging for their attention. At this point, you either gonna do for yourself or you gonna do something to somebody else. But my advice to people that ain't from the same background, that don't believe in the same things I believe in, is to do for yourself. Do for yourself. Don't stop trying to change them. They're not gonna change. It's what they do. It's what they've been doing since the beginning of time. This is what they've been doing since they've been on this earth. It's what they do.
Right.
So at this point, what are we gonna do? All the solutions I believe in, I'm mad at us. If you didn't stop, if you black and you was behind that camera when that man got choked out like that, you's the problem. We should really gun your scary ass there, because you have no purpose on this earth. You feel me? What are we gonna do? We need to become police. We need to make our community raise police. We need to encourage our police, and they need to become a part of the community, because that's gonna save somebody else's son's life one day.
I feel you. I disagree. I just want to put this out there real quick. I disagree with you that if somebody was there and they didn't help, especially if they black, they should have helped, but no, the culprit is the police. We gotta focus on the person who did the crime, and it was I just feel it was you gotta keep it on that person. And those police officers that allowed
you gonna cry that a dog bark?
If the dog's trained not to bark and it barked, then yeah.
It's in a dog's nature to bark. How you gonna tell a dog not to bark? How you gonna tell a cracker not to be a cracker? Like, how many more years is this gonna happen before you stop whining and realizing, like, that's what y'all do? Like, how many times are we gonna keep saying, oh, you did this to me, you did this to him? Dog, this what they do. What you wanna do about it? You gonna keep crying, oh, you're not fair. Nigga, they been not fair.
Yeah.
So how much are we gonna keep? What blame is pointing at them? We pointed at the 4 police that killed Diallo. We pointed at the same the police that killed Walter Scott. He went to jail. We cried about Eric Garner. How many times do you realize before you realize this is what they do? Like, how many times are you gonna cry about water being wet? Like, you can't. Stop blaming water being wet. Water is wet. These crackers is fucked up. This is what they do. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
If water wet and you don't want to get wet, guess what? You better figure out how to get a towel, or you better stay the fuck away from the water. It makes no sense to constantly be like, oh, look at him, he did this. For what? Nigga, this is what they do. They've been doing this shit since we known them crackers. Since we came on the boat, they've been doing the same shit. So it's either do something about it, either do something about it, do something else, or do for stealth. Because whining ain't gonna get it done. It just ain't. It ain't never got it done.
I hear you on that. What do you think?
Gotta be responsible.
What do you think about the riots that are going on out there right now?
I love it. At least you letting your voice be heard. At least you letting your voice. You're doing something.
Yeah, I agree.
No matter what, these crackers don't want to lose that dollar, so you do something.
Yeah, I agree with you. If they would have just went out there and been all passive, it wouldn't have the impact of what they're doing right now, because this system, this economic system, this society is valued by the white people. It has them in power, so they want to do what they can to keep it going. So anything damaging it will get their attention.
Man, burn that shit up. Especially Target, burn all that shit up. I love Target as a store, but you got to understand they're part of the same supremacy system. So burn some shit up, man. It's okay. They'll figure it out. They got enough money. They got enough insurance companies. Burn some shit up. Let them know that you mad. See, that's my problem. Like, you can't tweet you mad. You got to stop whining. And be like, oh, well, if we keep focus on them, then this is going to happen the next time. It happened the next day. The fuck good is keeping focus on them. Keep focus on us. Can't do nothing about them. You're either going to kill them or you're going to let it go.
Yeah,
other than that, if it ain't on us, you can't keep whining about somebody doing some bullshit. Like, if your bitch keeps cheating, right? If your old lady keeps cheating on you, if this what she do, what are you gonna do? You gonna keep crying, oh, you cheating on me, oh, you change your life, get your life, you're not fair, you're not treating me right. That's not funny. They know they're not treating me right. That's what they do.
Right, yeah. It's like what they say, focus on the things you have control of, and don't, you can't, why focus on the things you have no control over?
And that's my point. And that's actually, I love how you put that. That's true. I've heard that. That is what I'm on. I'm not on crying about that cracker being a cracker. That cracker been doing that shit. I seen some shit right now to say that cracker been in some shit where he been doing the same shit. That's what he do. So to keep focus on him, listen, knock him off, or you just deal with justice, or you try your best to roll the dice on whatever they want to do with him. But in real life, is what are you gonna do? What can you do? You can't make these crackers be fair. That's for sure. That's 100% sure. You can't make them be fair. This country ain't never been fair, and it ain't gonna be fair. And I'm not finna whine about it not being fair. I'm an outlaw anyway for that reason. But the point is, what can you do about it? And once we all start figuring out as a community what can we do about these things, you'll see true change. You'll never see true change whining about who they are. It's who they been. Feel me? They ain't finna wake up one day and be like, you know what? We've been doing niggas bad this whole time. We need to get our shit together.
Right. All right. So what do you think would be justice? So they are, supposedly they're going to bring charges against him. I know they're investigating right now.
Yeah.
And what do you think would be a justifiable sentence for him?
What do I think, or what should the average person think?
What do you think?
I feel like he should be gunned down and murdered, personally. I mean,
Right.
no disrespect to his family, no disrespect to his friends, but he should be killed. That's what I would do. If you killed my homie, you die.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think the average?
Hold on.
Right.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Go ahead, I'm listening.
All right. What do you think the average person should think would be justice if that cop, goes to trial and everything?
They're gonna make a mistake and try to pursue first-degree murder. First-degree murder requires premeditation, and it's hard for you to prove first-degree murder on a police officer with premeditation. So, the charge they will probably have to settle for, I need to look up Minnesota to make sure they have second degrees or, voluntary manslaughters and different charges like that. But if they chase first degree, this could be a bad situation. But then again, Minnesota is the home of the mixed babies. Like, it's more interracial relationships in Minnesota, if I understand correctly, and I've been there as Prince from Minnesota, Minneapolis. So the white folks is kind of, they white, but that's a little
they kind of woke.
Yeah, they fuck with Minneapolis people. So maybe the jury kind of will see it that way, but I wouldn't try to. If I was a district attorney, I wouldn't pursue first-degree murder. I'd be trying to get a charge to get guns out of his hand and to get him in prison for as much time as possible.
I think they might be able to get first degree just because it was like a 5-minute. It wasn't in an instant. It didn't happen in an instant. So the fact that it took so long, I think that makes that much easier to prove, or it gives them that much bigger of a chance to be able to prove that.
I don't know if I would do that, because if it ever comes out that George was kind of like resisting arrest, it kind of changes. You know what I mean? It's the same case with the McMichaels. With the McMichael case, that's not a first-degree murder case that you could prove. The McMichael case, the problem with it is you can go to the store. You could be like, I'm grabbing my gun and go to the store. I mean, you could grab your gun and do anything. So a lot of the cases we lose is because we charging with first-degree murder instead of getting what we could get. You know what I mean? Like in that situation particularly, I mean, maybe it could be first-degree murder because it was that long, but if it was a California case, I think I'd be looking at second-degree murder. I'd be looking at something like that. And in the McMichael case, I'd be looking at felony murder. That's what I would charge him with it.
Right.
I would go after those from a legal standpoint. But in real life, glasses, low, like, gun them down. Like, not like, it's not nothing, it's not big deal. It's like, you killed him, we gonna kill you.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal. I know it sounds crazy to people, but it's not a big deal. That's my sense of justice.
Right. Yeah, I feel you. All right. I thank you for addressing that with me. I think it's important for, the people out there, especially the people that watch my channel, the people that listen to my radio station, hear from somebody that has, a respected voice in the hip hop community, speak their mind on that. So let's get off of that. And let's move to, and I do want to send both of our condolences out to the George Floyd family and everybody else.
I feel so bad for them, and especially Jack, man, Steven Jackson, man, that hoop, man. Jack is my guy, man, and I could tell he was broken up. That was his man, so that's fucked up, man. I feel really bad for him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then to be able to watch it happen on tape, and just the not care, like it was no care.
None.
Shit, bro. That is accurate of what these crackers is really like. I don't know how we could sit back and watch that happen and then be looking at them strange when this is what they do all the time.
Right. It ain't the first time.
So if we not gonna stand up, even that, like, hey man, sometimes it's worth risking your life. It's heroes. Martin Luther King is a hero. Malcolm X is a hero because they risked their life. Sometimes your legacy is better dead than alive.
Right.
Mhm. Like,
Yeah, I feel you.
living ain't worth being a coward. Like, that's a coward.
What do you think about the white people that are participating in the riots?
Man, get it.
Yeah.
Shit, listen, man, if you down, man, be down. Don't be down. Man, be down. I
Right.
love it. I respect it. You feel me? I
Yeah,
respect
because
it.
there are some
Oh, they
that
get
just,
busy.
yeah, that's with it. Like, man, everybody
Man,
needs to be
they,
fair, or we gotta change things.
listen, the ones that's with it, man, do your stuff. Do your stuff. Be heard, man. Be accounted for. Let people hear that you upset.
Right, exactly. All right, so one thing I wanted to touch on while I got you on here is um, your Tupac Must Die song. You dropped it. It was less than a year ago, right? It wasn't a
Yeah,
year
it's 10
ago.
months.
Yeah,
It's 10
okay,
months now.
okay, 10 months, and the video blew up online. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, you got everybody stirred up and riled up at
So,
you. Um, now that you've had time to absorb it for these 10 months, has it been more positive or more negative, or what's the from your side? You're the only one that could answer this from like the messages, the comments. Is it more negative or positive, or what is it?
it's more negative. Um, there's more people feelings hurt, and the internet makes people tough when their feelings hurt. It ain't like back in the day when somebody say, "Well, you hurt my feelings." Now it's like I'm gonna say something that's inappropriate to you, or I'm gonna say something to you that I'd never say in your face because
Right.
my
Yep.
feelings are hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, I respect it. I get it. You know what I mean? It's a rough truth to swallow. But
Yeah.
again, if you like gangster rap, you know what I mean? Like, my job is to deliver the culture. My job is to deliver the mentality. My job is to deliver the rawest form of that truth that you can get. That's what my job is to hip hop. Like, it's up to me to deliver that truth.
Right.
So
Let me bring everybody up to speed if they haven't seen it. Everybody did see it, but just in case somebody on here hasn't seen it. So Glasses, he dropped the song 10 months ago. It's called Tupac Must Die, and it's a song, but it looks visually, it's almost like a reenactment of Baby Lane's version of the Tupac incident, in where he gets jumped by Tupac and them in the MGM, and then later on they wind up gunning down Tupac out here in Las Vegas. And so that's what we're talking about right now. His song called Tupac Must Die and the video that accompanied it. So you're saying it's mostly negative, but you understand where they're coming from. It's like a lot of people just revere Tupac as just so iconic, so legendary that
what
they
she
don't
was,
they
what
don't
she
want
was.
yeah, they don't want to hear nothing that could tarnish, or you know what I'm
What's
saying?
what's funny is, right, is to me it does nothing but raise his profile. But to other people, it tarnishes who he was. Not the song, but the concept that he may have died because he jumped on somebody based around gang stuff. You feel me? Standing up for somebody he was riding with. To me, that's like honorable. You feel me? If you ride with somebody, you ride with them. You feel me? But
Right.
Tupac is beyond reproach to beyond reproach to some people. It's like,
Right.
well, he could do anything, or people can do anything like that. And in our world, in our culture, nobody's above it. Like, if you violate, you feel me? Like, death will become you. It's just what it is. So I just explained the story. And to me, the highlight of the idea was the mentality. Like, when you listen to it, like, 'cause I've been a victim in this situation, and I reacted the same way. But more or less, when you think about it, it's like you can hear the fear of what people would think about him. So that's insecurity. It's not just bravado. It's not just like a person, oh, you jumped me, I'm the evilest motherfucker breathing. It's like, no, it's like, I want to let it go, but if I let it go, it's gonna mess with my capital. People not gonna feel like they can pay me back. Everybody gonna think I'm a punk, and you got to drink a little bit more to get more fired up. Some people smoke sherm, and you could just hear how you go about getting into that position to retaliate. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I felt like I
Right.
gave people the more you listen to it, you can, like, especially the last verse, you can hear it. You can listen to the song where he's talking about trying to escape the madness of the city because he just got into it with some dudes from a half-ass rival hood, and it almost went bad to going to the Vegas to watch a fight and feeling like you're on top of the world as a youngster because you in a Mike Tyson fight. You 21 years old and you in a Mike Tyson fight. You feel me? And you looking for a girl and you feeling like you the man, and then to be violated by somebody you don't even affiliate with the culture. You know, somebody you was a fan of. You know what I'm saying? By him and these other guys, and 8 or 9 of them just handle you with no care, just mistreat you, try to kick your jaw out of line. And the pressure you feel from your homies to retaliate, like, yo, you can't go out like that. The pressure that's in your mind, the things you thinking, like, yo, I need to make sure these motherfuckers know, like anybody around the city know that if they do this to me, you feel me? Even to the point to when the retaliation is gonna happen, thanking God. Feel me? Like I can settle the score. And I've had different people ask me, like, yo, you don't think like Tupac used hands? Why did he have to use guns? No, 9 people. Suge went to prison for 9 years because of this.
Damn.
9 people come jump on you, kicking you. You know, the first time y'all have y'all occurrence at the mall, it's a gang fight. It's not 5 people fighting one person. It's a gang fight. I mean, you reach for change. But in the casino, 9 people attack you.
Right. Yeah.
Feel me? Like I couldn't. The pressure, you know. And then if you look at someone that's not a part of your culture, right? He's not even a part of the culture. You look at him as a rapper, like, yo, you rap songs, fool. Like this really, feel me? The pressure it had to be on his heart to make it right. So people, because for sure, if Tupac jumped you, like right now, if Tupac jumped you, if a rapper jumps you as a street nigga, yo, everybody got 100 jokes.
Yeah.
Feel me? If YG and 8, you know, and we can't say YG because he's pretty much affiliated at that point. He's a Treetop Pyru. Let's say somebody who's not. Let's say J. Cole. Let's say J. Cole and 8 of your rival enemies jump you, and J. Cole takes off on you. Like, yo, you know how many jokes I'm gonna have for you, bro? If Drake and 8 niggas from your, if Drake take off on you, bro, like Drake took off on you, dog, like,
right,
you go get even.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have 1,000 jokes from you every time I see you. It's like menace to society. Like you wasn't talking that shit when Kane was fucking you up. That's what I'm saying. You wasn't talking that shit when Drake was fucking you up. Now you want to trip with me. Nigga called me if I owe him money. Shit, nigga, you didn't make Drake give you your money. I'm gonna have 100 jokes. So just to be able to explain that mentality and, you know, related to my own situations, to know what it feels like and to know what gangbangers and people from the culture go through when it's time for retaliation, whether it's drinking, getting high. All my homies used to smoke shine before they go put in work. Some of the coldest killers I know used to smoke shine. So they had to be out of their mind to even get to such an evil place to take that type of vengeance.
Right. Yeah. Gotta. Yeah.
There's a lot in that song that people not really hearing. They just hear the title. And I didn't think the title was bad. I just really ripped off Romeo Must Die, or John Tucker Must Die, like a movie. I didn't even think about it like Tupac Must Die. Like I'm saying, like his legacy. I'm like, no, nigga, like if Tupac and 8 niggas jump me, you feel me? If the Pope and 8 archbishops jump me, you feel me? The Catholic world is gonna bury the vicar, dog. It's just, I'm not riding like that. It's just not gonna happen like that.
Right. Shout out to King Haven. He in the chat room gave us a shout out. Get up out of here. All right. So you dropped that. That was about like 10 months ago or so, less than a year. And so now I just did an interview with DJ Battlecat like earlier this week, and you know I got a hold of the song You Can't Tame Us. And I seen you was on there. I was like, okay, Glass is back active. So why don't you break down that song real quick? And it's like a few of you guys on there. Who is it?
211.
Yep.
211.
Snoop.
Dog, OG. Dog is on there. Snoop is on there.
Rucci.
And Rucci.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean? That was ill. Like I never did nothing for Rucci. That was
okay,
dope. So I've been putting a lot of pressure on Battle Cat, on Warren G, about Dre, Daz, about them starting to put out music.
okay.
Like the reality is we don't have a new sound. All we have is Mustard that's actually successful commercially, going past uh Vegas with his sound. Maybe Hit Boy,
Mm-hmm. Right.
so it's just such a small number. And I think the sound of the OGs, right? Their sound is still prominent when people hear West Coast music. And they want to hear music from them. You could put any young rappers on. You could do it with YG. It could be Warren G, Dom Kennedy, and YG. It could be Dr. Dre putting out a song featuring, you feel me, Boogie from Compton, young Boogie from Compton, and Problem. Like it's so many opportunities for things to do. You know what I mean? For these people to do, and they just not. And I mean, I'll be around all these dudes. They have thousands of beats. Like Battle Cat has thousands of beats. And I'm like, bro, send the beats out. Let people rap over these beats. Put them
Right.
out as your record. You feel me? And
Stop hoarding them things.
like, what are you gonna do? Like, what is the point? Like, you got Warren got thousands of beats. Daz got thousands of beats. Put this shit out. Like, get these young dudes in Long Beach to rap on them. Put them out. People want to hear music from Daz still. They want to hear West Coast music.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a slot for it and all that. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's way more commercial than people probably would understand. People may think like, oh, it's vintage, and it's like, well, there's only vintage West Coast culture. Right now, OT Genesis, YG, Roddy Ricch is gonna put on some Dickies and put on a Dickie suit and some All Stars. We don't got nothing new. So
Mm-hmm.
give the people what they want when they want West Coast shit. It's nothing new until we figure out something new. Like give them what they want. They want Dre. They still want Dre. They still want Daz. They still want Battle Cat. It's only Mustard as far as that. It's not enough Mike Wills. It's not no Londons. They're not established yet. Blast, my kid Blast coming up. He did all the Beano project. He's dope. Larry Jess, a couple of homies, but if we not gonna partner them up with Dr. Dre or Battle Cat, like everybody got to work to restore West Coast to prominence. It can't just be these young dudes. Something missing, obviously.
Right. Most definitely. All right. In the chat room, Goon Yak, no, he says, "What's up, Lo?"
Hey, what's up, though?
All right. All right. So, was that the first time that you worked with DJ Battle Cat, or have y'all worked prior?
My first project, DJ Battle Cat, excuse me. My first project, Battle Cat did Take a Fade. On my new project, Battle Cat did the song with me and Ty Dolla $ign.
Okay. So
when I went to Battle Cat for the new project I'm working on, like I wanted to just make a West Coast project.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to care what's new, what's old. I wanted I don't have a West Coast project. Something where if you from the West Coast, you could be like, man, this shit right here make me feel good. You feel me? So I really am going out my way to make a straight West Coast project. You put it in, automatically, oh, this is West Coast shit. You feel me?
Right.
And so when I went to Battle Cat for the record, I told him, he was like, man, what you want, man? Make you some of this new shit? Man, give me Weak and Freaky. This is the idea. Give me Weak and Freaky.
Right.
Oh, that's where you're going? That's where you should be going.
Yeah, right.
I want that feel. I don't give a fuck. I got some new shit, but look, you know what I mean? Like, I want to make people feel great.
Right.
What match the sunshine? I don't want to do no trap records. I don't want to match that darkness going on out there. What match the sunshine? Give me that gangster rap. Where is that take the top off, you feel me, and the sun beaming in, yet that gangster shit is still rocking. Give me that G'd up where I can stand on top of the record label, on top of VIP and talk my shit.
Yeah.
And I ain't got to dim the day, you feel me, I ain't got to darken the video to make it match the music.
Right. Yeah. When I did an interview with DJ Battle Cat the other day, he said that he originally intended We Can Freak It for Trey D. He said he originally made it for him, but he wound up giving it to Corrupt or whatever. I thought that was a trip.
But then he got G'd up.
Yeah. So those like my two favorite from DJ Battle Cat, man.
For me, it's the stuff he did for Domino.
Oh yeah.
And Lucy Pearl U.
Okay. Yeah, Ghetto Jam, you can't go wrong with that. You feel me?
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, that's a classic for sure. All right, when is your project gonna come out? The one you just talking about? What's the?
I'm fighting to try to get it for the summer. I like mid-July. You know, once it comes. So I'm praying for mid-July. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to give people records for. You know, I didn't want to do this, but I think I'm gonna just start releasing records. You know what I mean? But
okay,
I'm gonna try to give it to everybody by mid-July.
Okay. Is it like halfway done or 3/4 done or?
Maybe a quarter, but the idea, like I got the sounds right. So.
Oh, okay.
In 7 days, I could be 100% done because I already know where I'm going. So I'm just really pushing. You know, I got to go sit down with Dot, with Kendrick, and get something together. I just got to make sure that when people turn it on, they feel like, oh, the West Coast. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? I want that. I want people to be like, oh, he on that shit. That's the West Coast. You know what I mean? I want that. I want that so bad.
Right. I could dig that. All right. Before we get up out of here, we basically done. I just want to ask you about this because I seen this. I looked at it again today, and I don't understand where you're coming from on this. So maybe you can help me understand.
Sure.
So I'm going back to your Hot 97 interview, and you guys are talking about Snoop, and you're talking about Tupac, and you were saying that Snoop, it was at a certain, I guess you were saying for a specific time frame that Snoop Dogg was the bigger artist.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
Like what's the time frame that you were talking about, or what are you talking about?
92 to 95. Snoop was bigger than Tupac. He was like a more like well-known, iconic artist at that point. It's not even close. You got to think pre-95, Tupac wasn't bigger than Ice Cube.
I disagree, because if you consider all of his movies,
who had bigger movies before 95?
How many Fridays came out before then? Only one.
I mean,
I think only one.
Boys in the Hood is probably 3 times bigger than Juice.
Yeah, I agree.
Boys in the Hood is bigger than Poetic Justice.
But at that time, Ice Cube's music wasn't really cracking though. So but Tupac's.
Whoa. We talk about double platinum plaques and smash top 40 records. Which part of Cube wasn't popping before 95? You talking about when Today Was a Good Day came out?
Wait, what's the time frame? You talking about 92 to 95, you said?
I'm talking about Ice Cube was bigger than Tupac all the way until All Eyes on Me came out. It wasn't even like bigger than that. So All Eyes on Me. Then that's when his star rise as he started getting as known as them. It changed his whole perspective. Like, and that was the point. I didn't even think it was that big of a deal. Like, Ice Cube had bigger movies, bigger albums, smash hit records, the world's most dangerous group. Feel me? He represented the culture. Pac was influential and people liked him, and he was more of a positive figure. Ice Cube was the guy, let alone Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg probably is rap music. Snoop Dogg is probably the most iconic figure in hip hop history. He's probably the only rapper that could go anywhere and people gonna know who he is.
All right, so when I was watching that interview, this is more about Snoop and Tupac. So what I was getting is you were saying that Tupac got bigger once he got to Death Row because of Snoop Dogg and because of Dre.
Snoop had the biggest light on him.
But okay, so this is what I want to say. Okay, so this is why I disagree with you. But you're talking about Snoop Dogg, who dropped Deep Cover with Dr. Dre, was on The Chronic with Dr. Dre, and then dropped his album Doggy Style from Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? So you're comparing basically Snoop and Dr. Dre, you're not really comparing Snoop Dogg because Snoop Dogg was never by himself. He came up under the most iconic producer of all time, and you're comparing him to Tupac before he got to a producer of that caliber. So just the way that you're comparing them is doing Tupac an injustice, because Tupac was comparable without Dre. And I love Snoop, you know what I'm saying? He's like a hero of mine. My boy from AHAT, Young B, passed away. Snoop Dogg paid for his funeral and everything. I used to work for Snoop Dogg, so I hold him in the highest regard. But he was under Dr. Dre's umbrella. And then you talk about the numbers of album sales, right? We talking about when Snoop Dogg dropped his first album. What's the other one that's comparable? 50 Cent. Whose umbrella is he under? Dr. Dre still. Like, you don't see you comparing Kobe and Shaq versus just Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Give Jordan Pippen at least. You know what I'm saying?
Well, again, I mean, I think it's a little. It's not like that, right? I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying what Dre did is not the reason why Snoop Dogg is Snoop Dogg. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just telling you he didn't have Dr. Dre.
Right.
And he didn't have the muscle and the machine, the marketing brilliance of Death Row.
Okay.
And he didn't necessarily represent probably the most up and coming and iconic culture that's affecting the world today, which is cripping. I don't think that's necessarily. These are the reasons why Snoop was bigger than Tupac. I don't think it's like bad or nothing. Again, you kind of just proving my point. I'm not debating why. I mean, those are the reasons why.
Okay.
But again, Snoop represented like something huge, and you had Dr. Dre scoring the music, and you had Death Row, which was the illest street label, saying this is the real thing. So I'm not saying.
I agree with you on that.
And I'm not disagreeing that that's why Snoop was bigger. I agree. That's the point. That's why he was bigger. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. Like, that's the point of it. But again, like, I don't think we ever got into that conversation. I think the conversation was Tupac is big, and I'm like, no, that's just not true. I'm not lying. Like, Tupac at that time, in real time, wasn't even as big as Ice Cube. When Tupac,
but you're still talking about prior to
All Eyes on Me. Tupac is bar none, comparable to any artist, probably in music. Maybe like, Snoop, Beatles, he's right there. You know what I'm saying? His whole journey is totally different. But again, like I said, I think I have so much respect for his journey because I watch it really rise. I mean, It's just a confusion that is like, G don't like Tupac. And it's like, no, bro, like, I watched it in real life. Like, I know what it is. I'm not disagreeing with you. That's not why Snoop wasn't better. You got to remember, Snoop went to jail for murder. After he dropped a song called Murder Was the Case. You got to remember, Tupac went to jail for rape. Tupac went to jail for murdering, like shooting the police. Tupac went to jail for different things. Both of these guys had things that launched them into mainstream media, where they was on TV every day, regular TV. Mm-hmm. So I'm not debating why Snoop was bigger. I don't think that's the point. I think that's why Snoop was bigger. But that don't change the fact that when Tupac came to Death Row, it changed his life. His life. Snoop was the biggest star in music.
Yeah, and it changed Snoop Dogg's life when he came to Death Row. And
Snoop was only Death Row. He is Death Row. It ain't no Death Row. You know what I mean? He is Death Row. Everything else is Death Row. I think Death Row would have been Death Row without Snoop because they had Dre. I think Dre. Yeah, it wasn't gonna be Dre without Snoop.
Wait, what?
It wasn't gonna be Dre without Snoop at Death Row.
Dre was already Dre. What you mean?
Dre had never put out a solo album or nothing.
Yeah, but he already produced the caliber of music that he produced at Death Row. He was already making. I don't think Snoop made Dr. Dre a better producer, but I guarantee you that Dre made Snoop a better artist. Period. Like, that shouldn't even be a debate. That should be a
I don't know. I don't think nobody's music sound as good as Snoop and Dre together. It is Snoop and Dre. It ain't just Dre and then Snoop.
Yeah, no,
But
I
but
feel you.
but I
feel
believe
you.
in my heart. Obviously, I know Dre's power. I watched him do it with 50 Cent, Eminem, all of them. I'm
Right,
not.
right.
That's not a debate. But I'm saying Dr. Dre, the artist, what you saw with Snoop is like the perfect connection. It's
Okay, I feel that.
I told Dre it's Bootsy and George Clinton.
Mm,
Where it's like you can't beat that in rap. You feel me? So it's not
yeah,
giving
I
credit.
could.
You know, I'm a big producer guy first. I'm just telling you, if you talking about Snoop and Tupac, that wasn't even a conversation pre '96. Like it was artists. Like I said again, man. Like Ice Cube was bigger than Pac before '96. Ice Cube was like iconic with platinum albums, double platinum albums, huge smash hit singles, big movies, all like culture changing films. You know what I mean? And that's not to reduce Juice, but Juice just ain't Boys in the Hood.
Oh,
Important
nowhere
Justice just
near.
ain't Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, nowhere near.
You gotta
You
understand
right.
what Cube really was. Like Cube was different. So I think that makes Pac's journey that much more bigger. Like he really started from the bottom and came up by himself and feel me, worked his way up through the business. Like I relate to his story more than I relate to Dog's story.
Right, because if you think about it, Tupac came from Digital Underground and Shock G producing his music, and Snoop Dogg came up under Dr. Dre when Dr. Dre producing his beats.
but let's be honest though. Let's not give Dre like in real time. Shock G wasn't no slouch, and Dre wasn't the man in real time. In real time, Dre was just the dopest nigga on the West Coast in real time. Now we look at him, we like, oh yeah, you did everything.
Oh yeah, because he,
nigga.
Yeah, but it's like saying LeBron James in his 5th year. You might not say he's one of the GOATs, but you could see his GOATness, and all it is just a matter of time that he accumulates the game time to reach those accolades. And Dre was just needed time to reach those accolades. And I think the same was with Tupac. He just needed that time. He was still, you know what I'm saying? He died at like 24. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that's a disagreement.
Yeah.
But again, that don't change the fact that what Snoop Dogg represents to hip hop.
You right.
It's just,
you right.
It don't change that. It's not a knock on Tupac. That lets you know how fucking big Snoop Doggy Dogg is. Like sometimes I think we take that legacy for granted. It's fucking Snoop Dogg. It's motherfucking Snoop, dog. It's fucking Snoop. You feel me? It's fucking Snoop. Like we know for sure, Snoop walked through any mall in the world. Somebody, hey, your grandmother knows Snoop. Like she can see Snoop. Oh, Snoop Dogg. That's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, like I work with juveniles and young kids and you know, like certain facilities or whatever. And all these youngsters, they could be like 10, 11 years old. Snoop. They know Snoop.
That's crazy.
I'm like, what? How y'all even know? What do you know him from? Like, what song? What do you know him from? It blows my mind.
And again, I think people kind of took that content, like I'm putting Tupac down. I'm like, no, dog. Like, I'm telling you, Tupac reached where Snoop was at, if not surpassed him past death, right? But I'm just telling you, that's how big Snoop Dogg fucking is as a fucking entertainer.
Right. Yeah.
You feel me? Like, it's Snoop Dogg. I'm not saying why he's big. I'm not saying, oh, he did it by himself. I'm not saying Pac did it by himself. Nobody does it by themselves. You feel me? But again, that don't change the fact that, you know, you still talking about Snoop Dogg and you talking about Pac's rise and what happened in his rise. It's a confusion in today's time, like he was the man the first day. It's a confusion that in this time that he was the man the second day. That's just not true.
Right, nah.
That's not to say he wasn't successful. That's not to say he wasn't making shit happen. That's not to say I Get Around is not my favorite, you know, top 5 favorite song of mine. But that don't change the fact that I Get Around, as much as I love it, just ain't California love.
Right.
That ain't, feel me, like, you know, being on Interscope and it's not like being on death row. It just is different. Tupac came out with a mentality. When he went to jail, he came out with a plan. His mentality changed, and he knew exactly what he was going to do. He had the perfect marketing strategy, and he ran that shit up. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So I think it's just confusion. Like, you know, you kind of agree with my point. You don't disagree, because I just say,
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
I just say it's not. I'm not saying why Snoop is bigger. I'm just telling you Snoop is bigger. But that should let you know, like, you can come up too. Like, look what Tupac did. Tupac came up, dog. Up. Like, niggas, like, he came up. Like, it's probably one of the greatest stories of a come up. Maybe the other one closest, Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't come up like that.
Right.
Like, he came up, dog. He was the man. For those 4 or 5 months, he was the man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the way till he passed away. So I think that's it. I don't like, I'm a Tupac fan like every other human being on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
But that don't change the fact that, you know, like, you can actually talk about it in real time, in real life. It's not like again, even like in this situation, people think I think less of Tupac, or I think he did something wrong, and that's why I wrote Tupac Must Die. No, I'm telling you, if you a rapper and you a singer and you start messing around in gang life, this is what happened to the most popular rapper of the time. And literally, this is what it's like to be a gangbanger. I'm giving you insight that you can't get from no other gangster rapper ever.
Yeah.
You can't even get this kind of insight because they ain't shot nobody. Because they ain't been jumped and really went and had to shoot nobody. They don't even know what that feel like. They wasn't friends with niggas from one of those gangs to know the whole story. Most people think it was a conspiracy. They're not looking like, yo, bro, this is how it really goes. A lot of my friends died the same way. It's how it happens.
Right. Yeah, that's what makes it. That's what makes that song and that video so powerful. And I think it's a lane for that. You know, no pun intended, baby lane or whatever. But I think it's a lane for that type of narrate. Let's say it's like narration, poetic narration, or.
Man, shout out to Joyner Lucas. Like, Joyner Lucas gave me the idea of how to shoot the video. Like, he didn't tell me. I watched his content, and I'm a fan of what he does.
Okay.
But it gave me an idea to even do the video like that. But as far as hip hop, like, to me, it's not even really. It's just hip hop. It's just giving you the other side. It's the upside down. You feel me? Like, you want the upside down, I'm gonna give it to you. All this time, you knew what happened with Tupac. You knew he got killed. You knew it was fucked up, but you didn't know it from the other perspective. You don't know what it's like from the street side of the story. And my job is to give you the street side of the story of everything. It ain't about the main. Tupac is a mainstream icon. Like, I got cussed out and threatened and by more white people than niggas.
Damn, for that song?
More white people than black people. 100%. My life threatened. And I'm laughing like, you done lost your fucking mind. And I kind of knew that would happen because Tupac is such a mainstream icon at this point. But hip hop is all about delivering the story from the street side, not the mainstream side, not the side that everybody favors, but this is what happens from the streets. Right. That's what hip hop is all about, and that's what I really wanted to do, and that's what I plan to do on a lot of music. I want to give you the street side of the story. I don't want to give you the story that everybody and their mama know.
Yeah, and we want to hear the new stuff. We want to hear the different stuff. You mentioned Joyner Lucas a little while ago. Have you heard the remix to his song Will? With Will Smith?
I heard Fresh Prince 8 on that motherfucker though.
Oh man, it's so fire, man. It knocked my socks off.
Joyner's a good dude. He's fucking brilliant. You know what I mean? He's slick. He know what he's doing.
Yeah, that's just a smart concept for a song and everything. You feel me?
Yeah, and that's really what this shit is about. You know, it's about being brilliant. You feel me? That's what this shit is all about. So I just focus on that. I focus on delivering the street side of the story. Like, I don't focus on what everybody else doing unless it fits what I'm doing. But for the most part, it's about the street side of the story all the time. Let me give you the upside down. You can get the mainstream from all these. Drake gonna give you the mainstream. J. Cole, they gonna give you the mainstream. Let me give you hip hop. Let me give you what it's like from the streets perspective. What's going on in the dirty side of it, not the little clean side of it. What's happening from the underbelly of the shit.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. All right, man. Well, I don't want to hold you up no more, man. I appreciate your time. It's been a minute since we chopped it up.
Funny, I'm finna come out there next month, man, and you know, I'm gonna launch a single next month, so I'm gonna come out there and party up. You feel me?
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do something in the studio. I know everybody's scared and shit, but
yeah, I think we opening up the station like soon in like the next week or so. So yeah, hit me up and we'll go up to the station and get it cracking, man.
Yes, sir, man. Anybody got any questions before I jet out? I don't want to be rude.
Yeah. Y'all got any questions? Throw it up on the chat line real quick, and let everybody know where they could hit you up on social media.
And like my man Mr. Fab say, I'm Googleable, dog. You can Google me.
And
all you gotta do is put in glasses on, and all that shit gonna come up.
hey, how long did it take you to film that the Tupac joint, the Tupac Must Die?
It was all true to location.
Okay.
I shot it inside the MGM Grand. I don't know how we put that off.
Yeah, that's crazy because they super restrictive.
Yeah,
if y'all don't know about Vegas, like recording that's not popping at all.
I had to buy the car. It needed a new paint job because it had like a dent or something. So I had to buy the car, paint the car. I drove to Vegas twice. First time I stayed for 2 days and did all the shooting. Last time I drove 1 day and finished. It took me it was about 100 hours into everything. Well, 100 hours in the editing and probably
like how many days filming?
I'll give you hours. I mean, altogether days, about 3-4 days.
What? Okay,
yeah, it was like 3-4 days.
So
it wasn't consistent, but it was like we shot a lot.
Yeah.
But the editing took a long time. Trying to make sure it came home. Like I was driving I edited, I pretty much co-directed the video myself and edited it myself, like, because I knew how people needed to see it for it to make sense for them.
Okay. All right. Somebody threw up, I can't wait for the next album. G Malone, Real Talk. And you said you don't really have a time frame on when that's going to come. Well,
Mid-July.
Mid-July. Do you know when you're going to drop like one of the songs? Because you said you might drop the songs periodically.
I want to drop 2 songs. I want to drop 2 videos. Maybe, I want to drop 2 videos and the third one I put out the whole project.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I didn't want to do that. I wanted to really just drop the whole project and drop the first video and do that because that makes more sense business-wise. But I'll figure it out. I got some shit though. It's good. It's really good. It's West Coast. If you a fan of West Coast music, if you from the West Coast, this for you, straight up.
Okay, that's what's up, man. All right, I appreciate your time and definitely your input on the George Floyd crazy incident that basically shook up the world. But shit, it's been a reoccurring thing for the longest, man. Ain't nothing changed.
What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, that's for real, man.
All right, well.